Recording is on.
And we are live. Welcome everybody to another episode of You Know What? Let me just say podcast. I am your host, Ray. With me as always, we have Father.
They took away my following account on Twitter, and I'm mad about it.
Damn. We also got Tony.
Yeah, what's going on, peoples?
Gentlemen, how we doing today?
Yeah, man, niggas wilding.
Oh my god. That ain't the that's we gonna get into that later. I wanna start off with some positive. Um I wanted to talk about the Jill Scott versus Erica Badu versus series. And basically I just want to get y'all thoughts on it. How did y'all feel about that versus series?
Man, that shit fucking cleansed my chakras and made my skin all shimmery and shit, bruh.
Chocolate.
Let me tell you, I had my little head wrap on. I had my incense burning, bruh. Them two alone can fucking cure corona with their voice. That's how magical that shit was. And the thing I like about it is that it was just two sisters just sharing their music, sharing their vision to everybody else. And like they were just vibing off each other. It was just nothing but compliments. And I learned shit that I never knew Jill Scott wrote You Got Me. I never knew that. So I was like thoroughly surprised when I heard that. And then to find out that Erica Badu sang on a track that on the first song she ever wrote, I'm like, bruh. And then another thing is that Jill Scott started when she was like 27. Like she was almost 30 when she like got started. So I was like, damn, like people can get started on their dreams. It don't matter how old you are. Like if you got passion for something, you can just go up and do it. It's not too late to do anything now. So and now look at Jill Scott. She's like one of the most respected, musicians like ever. If we want to go there. So it was just nice to see two queens just building each other up and doing something real positive for the community and shit like that. Everybody was really vibing with them. Everybody had like their own little stories and shit. I was a little salty because Erica Badu didn't play Drama, which is my favorite song from her, and Jill Scott didn't play I Need You, which is one of my favorite songs from her too. So apart from that, bruh, mm, 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 mm. I love black women.
Thought Tony, did you watch it?
Oh yeah, I seen it from the beginning. When I came in the house, my wife had that joint on before it even started. Oh, it was so lovely, man. And I got the biggest crush on Jill Scott. Oh my gosh, my wife know that. It was so lovely. Um, it was planned good. Nobody started losing no Wi-Fi like the last one. The music they was putting out, the vibe they had, um, especially how they was kicking all negative people out the room. They was saying negative comments. It was. I enjoyed myself. I had it beamed onto my TV, so we just looked at it on the TV from my phone, and it was good, man. I mean, and to learn that Jill Scott, that was her first time doing a live broadcast on Instagram. And ever since then, I think she did like 3 or 4 now.
Mm.
I think she did one with Tigger 2 days ago, and somebody else. And then other times she just talked, but it was good. I really enjoyed the show. Um, I kind of thank Swiss Beats and Timberland for orchestrating and making sure everything is straight. Um, so I guess the Nelly and with Nelly and who's the person? Nelly and somebody else supposed to go this Saturday.
Hold on.
Nelly and Ludacris.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nelly was
Nelly and
Ludacris.
Ludacris. Yes, I mean it's good vibe. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, reach a lot of viewers on the Erica Badu thing. I know it wasn't as much as the Skashi 6ix9ine thing, but that was great vibe there.
Uh, I'm gonna quote what Jay Blacks, the battle rapper, said. I'd rather have 750,000 soulful souls than 2 million puppets from Takashi's string. I enjoyed it as well. I saw them when they was setting up, and then I got to it when they was in that groove. I was in there singing their songs. I'm actually like most people don't know Words of Sounds Volume One by Jill Scott is one of my favorite albums. Mama's Gun from Erica Badu is one of my favorite albums. It was just I like Father said, the world needed this because it was just good vibes, good songs, good music, and all that other stuff. They was complimenting each other. They were singing each other's songs and all that stuff. All the verses, all the verses series has been good. You know, that because the Primo and RZA thing, that was it's still one of my favorites. This is like really close. It's like 1A, 1B. So but I just like if they put people in there that vibe with each other because I know people was trying to put people that's controversial with each other like Brandy and Monica, and people want to see like 50 Cent and Ja Rule, and I'm like I don't want to. As much as I like 50, I don't want to see 50 and Ja Rule. That shit ain't gonna fly. And then I like how other artists are seeing this and they want to jump on, but it seems like every legend rapper wants to go against Jay-Z. So who do y'all think will match up against Jay-Z? Because I know DMX wanted to do it. DMX, everybody loved DMX. DMX got some hits, and then
DMX
Snoop
was
said he
considered
wanted.
in New York at one point.
Yeah, DMX was running New York. Rough Ride, the whole Rough Riders Act. I know Snoop wanted to do it, and I think somebody else wanted. A lot of basically a bunch of artists want to go against Jay-Z, but I don't know. Who do y'all think should go like a versus with Jay-Z?
Jay-Z. Mm. Jay-Z. I don't know. I wouldn't want to do Nas because I mean,
That's a good one actually.
yeah, but it's like, yeah, it could be that because they squashed their beef and everything. It could be that, but
I don't want them to play Ethan.
yeah, uh, Jay-Z and Dr. Dre maybe. I think that's
That's
the
a good one.
only. That I think because Dr. Dre probably got a bigger catalog like Jay-Z, and I mean he could do the beats he did for people, and the features that Jay-Z did, but it's not a lot of people touching Jay-Z like that. I mean, Kanye, yeah, Kanye West, another person, but he kind of the rapper and beat. So I probably want like producer versus producer. As far as rapper, I don't know. That's probably that's hard to choose a candidate for him to go against.
As far as producer goes, I would like seeing Dre versus Kanye. I know, Father, you don't like Kanye, but as far as me, I would like to see that battle.
I'll watch that.
You'll watch that?
Yeah, I'm gonna be biased, but I watch that.
Diddy versus Jermaine Dupri. I think that'll also be a good battle. I,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like to see the producers going at it because you can see how much shit they done. So
How would you think with Chris Brown versus Usher?
look, and I fucks with Chris Brown heavy. I'm probably one of the only people that fucks with Chris Brown heavy. I'm picking Usher.
I'm
I'm,
picking Usher as well.
I'm picking Usher. I think Usher would watch it. I don't want to say watch, but I feel like people forget Usher had hits. And 8701 in Confessions is like two of his best work. And he could just put the hits off of there. And I think he can like win it.
You know what I want to see? And this is gonna sound super random, but I've always had respect for these two. I want to see Scarface versus Ice Cube.
Ooh,
Oh wow.
ooh,
I
ooh,
feel like that would be a great battle.
ooh. I'm still waiting on my Bone Thugs versus 3-6.
Oh, that yo, I have to go 3-6 on that one. I love Bone Thugs and Harmony, but I gotta go with 3-6.
Ah man. Oh no, I grew up on Bone Thugs. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
I grew up on Bone Thugs.
Yeah, that one you can't really. That's like a Jill Scott Erica right there. You can't really pick. You just gotta vibe with both.
I wasn't going to pick with Jill Scott and Erica. I don't think
I don't
nobody
think
was
anyone
picking.
was gonna pick.
But shit, I'll probably feel the same way about the Bone Thugs at 3-6 because damn, both of them had some fucking shits.
Childhood right there.
Oh my god. So any last words y'all want to say before we get on to the next topic?
Yeah, hopefully these versus battles, they don't end up like Teddy Riley versus Babyface Part One. Everybody get their sound straight. Nobody doing way too much like Teddy Riley tried to do. Let's just keep it simple and just let the music speak for itself.
I agree with you on the Teddy Riley thing, but I'm just going to say if that shit would have went off like he thought it was going to be, that shit would have been epic.
It would have.
I don't have a problem with him doing too much because you want to be an entertainer, you want to entertain the fans, but that shit fell when that shit flopped. Ooh, that shit flopped hard.
That was the hardest flop, man.
And the DJ behind him, he had me cracking up. I'm sorry. The DJ behind him, it was just like, oh my god. And I knew, I said, sis, when this go, I said, they're gonna meme the fuck out of Teddy.
He's that
And
old
they
uncle from the 70s that still think he knows shit.
Okay, all right. On to the next. I wanted to talk about the Money in the Bank review. If basically excuse me, the Money in the Bank review. As far as I'm concerned, I liked it, and as far as the results, I was utterly surprised and also happy. So I'm just go toss it to y'all. How did y'all feel about the Money in the Bank pay per view?
Um, I was entertained. That was about it. I mean, there was nothing really memorable. You know what I'm saying? Apart from like Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio dying, and AJ Styles getting locked in a room with Undertaker memorabilia. That was pretty funny. Oscar is the GOAT. I think Money in the Bank solidified that Oscar is the GOAT and she must be protected at all costs. And yeah, I don't know. That was pretty much it. The fucking women's title match with Tamina and Bailey was eh. Even though Sasha Banks is fucking hilarious. Um,
I'm still mad about that match.
I know, but hey, that's Bailey, man. That's one of the four horsewomen, and Tamina ain't beating that.
I know, but come on.
I
Come
know.
on.
And the sad part is Tamina is actually looking pretty good this run. I think she's actually looking really, really good. So I think it was just a shame that it had to go through drastic times for her to get her, to get her shine. But I mean, she did have that opportunity. So we'll see, what else they do with Tamina. I personally think she needs to hunt the title some more, but we'll see about that. And I don't know. I can't even remember the other matches like that. Because I was just kind of like, I don't know. Money in the Bank was just kind of you wasn't even really watching it for the other matches. You just wanted to get with the main event. I know
And
Jeff.
it was short. It was
Yeah,
only like 2.5 hours.
I think that was perfect for the
I do
pay-per-view.
too. But I was also surprised when it ended. I was like, oh wait, it's over.
Yeah. I don't think they were trying to overdo that because they did of course they filmed the Money in the Bank match in itself, which I love that they're doing now because it makes for a better product. But and the last two matches that they did, which was in WrestleMania, were really good. And the match between Gargano and Ciampa was art. That was fucking amazing. So I'm glad that they're starting to do more of that, film style matchup shit. So I hope they continue with that some more.
Tony, did you get the chance to watch Money in the Bank yet?
Nope, I didn't, man. You know what? It was Mother's Day, and I was it was like I'm on orders and stuff, so I had to work that whole day. And then when I got home, I did spend some time with the wife, but then I wound up going to sleep, and I had to be up early in the morning. I missed that and Monday Night Raw because I was working, still working. But I mean, may check it out later. Um, is it worth rewatching it right now, or just go and see highlights?
If I'm being honest, even though I said I liked it, if I'm being honest, just go with the highlights. But go to the WWE Network just to watch the Money in the Bank ladder match. I think you will enjoy the ladder match at least, the Money in the Bank ladder match. And what was it? There was another good match on it. I think the tag team match was real good.
Oh yeah, the
But the 4-way. I think that match was really good. But other than that, and Drew and Seth Rollins was really good too. So I would say go ahead and watch it, but don't waste your time on Tamina and Bailey. Even though that match wasn't bad, I just didn't like the ending. I thought the ending was stupid. But even though I and let me just let me just say this. I know that Tamina is not going to get the belt. I think we all know that, but at the same time, she had on one. Sasha comes in and she chases her around, and it's like, why would you do that when you had her pin? To me, it was just stupid. But like I said, I've always said this. I don't, and I was joking about this. I don't know, when they get in that ring, people lose common sense. So, like, even though it's like 100 years of wrestling, everybody falls for the same fucking trick. So, but I'm happy that Asuka won the Money in the Bank ladder match, which ended up having her winning the women's championship because Becky Lynch is pregnant. Congratulations, Becky Lynch. That one was a fucking shocker because I don't watch League, so I don't listen to League, so that it was really shocking. Otis, that was really like a what the fuck. I don't think nobody had Otis winning, but I'm also glad it's not King Corbin. Thank God, because it is the minimum. But for some, I'm pretty sure everybody looked at Otis like, I'm happy for Otis because Otis is really getting a push. But at the same time, it's like, I wasn't expecting him to get that. So I'm sitting there like, wow. It's like one of the few times where WWE just shocks you and you just like speechless. That's how I felt.
You know what made me feel like that? When you remember that WrestleMania when Zack Ryder won the Intercontinental Championship?
Oh, I was the same way with that too.
That was a big what?
It's like they gave him a push.
Yeah, that did not last long at all because I think he hosted that same week.
Yeah, he lost it. He lost it the Monday after Raw. I was like, "Up, there it goes."
There you go.
Okay. Any last words on a Money in the Bank pay-per-view?
Let's hope Backlash is good. I think that's the next pay-per-view.
Nope, I'm good. I'm gonna still check it out though.
Yeah. Go ahead and check it out. I think you'll really enjoy the Money in the Bank ladder match because Asuka was the MVP.
Somebody not saying anything about Seth Rollins being the father, or that just
he's the father.
But nobody not saying anything about it.
What do you mean?
Nobody, like given this. Did he appear on Raw or anything like that?
Oh, he appeared on Raw. Oh, he definitely appeared on Raw.
Oh, watch the Raw highlights. Oh, by the way, Seth Rollins got new theme music to match his whole Monday Night Messiah thing.
What?
Yeah.
Is it better or stupid?
Stupid, but not because the song is bad, but because his regular theme song is just that good.
I'm gonna
Wow.
have to agree. I'm gonna have to agree with Father. Like the whole Monday Night Messiah thing, it goes and it's very heelish. Like so, yeah. Um, on to our next topic, and this is where we get into the fuck shit. I want to talk about Boozy and him being on Instagram Live. Now, be granted, he said this before, but he was talking about how, like, when his kids was 13, he got a grown woman to give his kids top and all that other stuff, and woo, that opened up a lot of shit in the black Twitter and like a lot of discuss. I feel like a lot of discussion can have off of that one boozy segment, one boozy Instagram live. So, Father, I'm gonna come to you first. What did you think about the whole thing with Boozy saying that he got his 13-year-old kids and nephews topped off by a grown woman?
Boosie, 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 Boosie. Oh my god. Yo, when I read that, I had like the biggest face palm imaginable. I had that Star Trek Captain Picard face palm. Like I had the Doc Rivers face. I had all of that in one. Cause, bruh, like let's be honest, Boosie, he's a very likable person. Like I think a lot of people like Boosie because the nigga's funny, the nigga wild. You know what I'm saying? He knows how to have a good time. But at the same time, that nigga has got to be the most ignorant motherfucker that is out here right now. And this really fucking proved it. Like people were already pointing out the fact that if it was a girl, if he did that to his daughter, if someone said that they got their daughter head at 12 years old because they wanted them to have a good sexual experience, all that person will get locked up immediately. So they acknowledge the double standard that went on with this type of situation. Another thing is that a lot of men that have sexual experiences that young, like they not really okay when you think about it. The only reason why like it's kind of like quote unquote accepted is because like men are indoctrinated to be hypersexualized, especially black males when they're coming up. Like, when we was growing up, like the niggas, like we used to talk about, fucking watching porn and shit. And, like that's when you discovered, naked women and women shaking their asses. Like that shit was hella glorified when it came to us as young black men. So when we grow up with that shit, you come to find out that that type of image that we see of women, it translates to, us being like toxic towards them. So we don't really value them as much. And that's why you get the whole fuck these hoes, these bitches and shit like that. So it does come from that like type of culture. So and as much as I like hated what Boosie said, it also didn't surprise me because Boosie admitted that he was a victim to that himself. He was getting topped off that young, and niggas in his hood was encouraging him, and putting him in that type of predicament too, and kind of praising them for it. You know what I'm saying? So there is that in the community. And the fact that he said that is bringing up a conversation that we kind of need to have when it comes to young boys and their how women is shown to them at a young age. So Boosie, that ain't it, man. That really ain't it. I'm gonna use one of his quotes. Come on now, dog. Come on, man. You can't be doing that. That ain't it. That ain't it, bruh. And the one thing and the last thing I want to say about that whole situation is that there needs to be a consequence. There needs to be some type of consequence. Whether you want to lock him up, whether he something needs to happen to Boozy to make him understand that the shit he's doing is not okay. And we as black men, we need to kind of be the main people that's putting out that consequence. Because right now, as you know, there's a lot of stigma between with black men and how we don't hold ourselves accountable and how all we're good for is hurting women and shit like that. So for once, I would like to see brothers really like come together and really check the fuck out of Boosie just to show that there are us out there that are serious about the shit and we not gonna condone somebody in our community. You know what I'm saying? Like perpetuating that type of mess. Because right now, like it's time to grow. You know what I'm saying? Black men, two black men just died, you know, for no apparent reason other than being black. So we gotta really like take this shit seriously so we can have a next generation that we can be proud of. Otherwise, the cycle is gonna continue, and more women is gonna get hurt by virtue of this culture that we perpetuate.
Tony, what you think?
Um, I think he shouldn't have said it on live. I know a lot of drug dealers and a lot of people in the hood been doing that for years since I was growing up. It's just one of them things that they put men on different pedestal from females because of sex.
Yeah.
Um, I have I had got hit from a girl when I was young and she was like older than me, but not like the Boosie Joan. I think I was like 14, 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? But I knew drug dealers back in the day that, people from the streets that was drug dealers, that niggas that we knew we grew up with, they always do that. You know what I'm saying? To have this idea thinking that, look at this, let's get them sexually active because sexually active is good for a man but not good for a female type stuff. Which all that stuff is so wrong. But the day and age right now is different, and a lot of stuff that we used to do back in the days, you can't do that stuff no more. Um, he was wrong for doing that. Um, but a lot of people, I mean, a lot of older people are so stuck in their ways of thinking that that's how you make your control your son from being a man, from getting their head sucked from a female, or paying a prostitute to knock them off and them to have sex when they 17, 18 years old. It's just too much. Because like you wouldn't do that for a female, but like I said earlier, like from male and female, when it comes to sex is more generated than men. For men that to have more sex, and then for female not to have sex. Kind of thing with the little Ti joint with him and his daughter. You know what I'm saying? That was just overdoing stuff. You know, but there's the old ways need to stop.
Like I said, I thought this really opens up a lot about the way black community really thinks about sex. But let's be but before I'm not harping on the black community. Let's be real. This happens I'm pretty sure this happens in a lot of communities. I know growing up, some of the movies I've watched was like American Pie. A lot of those teenage movies where dudes are trying to get laid. I know Beavis and Butthead. Most of their most of their cartoons was them trying to score, or like Beavis and Butthead doing in America. They traveled all the way from like Cali to DC just to have sex with this one person and all that other stuff. Like it's in our comedies, is sometimes in our livelihood. And yeah, I'm pretty sure like in all the communities, like it is like a double standard. But I've always said, and even though I'm not for it, what Boozy did, I've always said I feel like you do have to raise your women differently from your men. But when it comes to sex, I feel like I don't think, especially since we live longer, and let's be real, because back then, like the average age of some most people was like early 40s maybe, early like late 40s, early 50s, and all that other stuff. So now, like, when you got modern medicine and people are living longer, like my aunt just lived until she was like 100. Rest in peace to you. But like we're in that age now where like you don't like kids don't really have to have sex at a young age to prove they manlyhood or all that other stuff. But I also want to say this. Because the first thing I did look on Twitter was like how many people was trying to use this as an agenda, and everybody did. And I try to put this as I'm trying this new thing where I'm putting it as a percentage because obviously, like Father done said, black people are not a monolith. So I try to put it in percentage. And when I did look through it, it's like half and half. Half the men was for it, half the men was against it. And but I felt like the other half that was against it, they wasn't getting it much. Um, they wasn't getting as much attention for instead of the people that was for it because I'm pretty sure it's a more catches your eyes when people say and dudes are not checking for this because I've seen like I've had a discussion with someone on my Facebook about it. And I was telling them, no, that shit is wrong. That shit is sexual assault because that's what it literally is, sexual assault. Also, by the way, this is not pedophilic. It's more or less the term is actually hebephilic. Pedophilic, if just so people will know, the pedophilic shit it involves infants from like 1 to 10. Hebephilic involves from like 11 to 14, and since they was like 13 when they was getting topped off, that falls under hebephiles. So what Bougie was doing was hebephilic, not pedophilic. But that's neither here nor there. We like Father said, we need to have this conversation about sex and how we kind of look at sex because as men, like you said, like the most people I knew was like having sex at like 15 in their teenage years, and I knew growing up in high school, I knew a lot of women like they had boyfriends, they was having sex. Next thing you know, they're teen moms and all that other stuff, and that I'm not gonna say it fucks up your life, but it really alters your life very differently when you're a teen mom. So it's just one of those things where you really be careful. I feel like we're not teaching our kids about sex. We there's sexual education, but I feel like a lot of people don't really go deep into about sex or like the consequences of sex other than STDs because I've learned STDs in health class. But other than STDs, but like pregnancies and like child support and all that other stuff, because I'm pretty sure if you teach your kids, especially young boys, if you teach them about the child support payments and how that shit go about, it would stop a lot of them from having sex. Not like some people will still do it and risk it, but I feel like that will stop a lot of people from having sex, or at least thinking twice before they have sex. And honestly, and I feel like a lot of people is missing this. It took two to tango. Bougie was wrong for paying the woman, but what grown woman you finding trying to top off some 13 year olds? Like, I don't care how much money he paid you. That shit is like whoever that woman was need to be put up on charges too, because that shit is gross. And that shit is disgusting. And we don't ever talk about, in my opinion, we don't ever talk about how there are older women that do prey on younger men. Like I don't like, especially like during the high school years, where like you got these teachers coming after these young men, and they're like the teachers are having sex with the kids, and they're end up getting pregnant and all that stuff, trapping them. So we don't. So we need to have a whole conversation about like sex, basically sex in general. And it all this remind me of a Kendrick Lamar verse he said in Untitled 3, and it was talking about what the black man say, and it was basically that whole verse was like how we put pussy on a pedestal, or like we put sex on a pedestal, and the one of the last lines he was like pussy is power. Fuck on a new bitch every night. I wouldn't be proud. You should allow it. Was basically like how some people, like what y'all been saying, how we looked at sex. It's like if like someone like 16 has been having sex, we kind of like congratulate them. But if our daughters is having sex, we be up in arms.
Yeah.
So that's one. I'm and this is coming from a man that said I feel like some double standards are cool and some are not. This is one of the double standards I'm not cool with, because like a young man could like ruin his life getting someone pregnant, just like a young woman could get her life ruined by being pregnant and like left alone with the baby. Any so what do y'all think? What do y'all think?
I mean, like, I definitely agree with you that like this is a double standard that's not okay at all. And nah, but Tony actually brought up a good point when he was talking about how back in the younger days, like that's just it seemed like it was like the norm because there was a lot of these people that and like these are people that they was coming up, they had some money on them. Like these were people that was really not struggling and they went through that shit. So a lot of so like again, it became like a culture. You know what I'm saying? Where like like if you young, your rite of passage is to have sex at a really young age. But it's funny because like in my culture, in my household, that was like the hugest no you could ever do. Like you ain't having sex. Like even to this day, you could be like 23, 24 years old, and if you having sex, they're gonna look down on you. You feel me? Because just of how like the different, just because of how different like the culture is. So while I like my first sexual experience was when I was like 16. So while it's not that much younger, it was still pretty young. So like to hear that like 12, like it was wild when I was going to school and I was seeing kids in high school getting pregnant. Because like I was like, bro, if any of my sisters got pregnant at like what well, like 15, 16 years old, bro, they was gonna get their ass whooped, regardless of whether they was pregnant or not. So like I always thought it would be like huge trouble if like anyone found out that I was like sexually active at a young age. So I tried my best just to hide that. But a lot of these kids nowadays, you come to find out they're not even really hiding this shit. They proud of it. They out and about with it too. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's gotten to a point where it's unregulated now, and then you just got a whole bunch of people that's just fucking each other, and then they don't value sex in the first place. So now those young boys grow up to be men who's going to rape people, men who's going disrespect women if they don't get their way, that type shit. So I think that it is important that we do have that conversation and we really look at the psychology of it. So we don't have to subject people who are not really about that into that kind of thing. And then also on top of that, you had those kids that wasn't on that shit. Like I'm pretty sure y'all have seen like the kids who were like kind of low key, wasn't trying to fuck anybody, and all of a sudden you see niggas calling him gay and oh he don't like girls and shit like that. So it,
I've
it's a
seen that.
conversation that needs
I've
to
seen
happen.
that. So let me ask you this question: do you think okay? Because I was watching the streamers and she was talking about like because he was also she because Boosie was also like yeah I gave my kids iPhones. I'd rather them watch porn than cartoons of two gay niggas kissing and all that other stuff. And um well, one thing I was wondering because she was talking about how she would think porn desensitized women and no, I'm sorry, porn desensitized men and it makes men like treat women like however the fuck they want. Do y'all agree with that? Do you feel like porn desensitized people to treat women for men to treat women however they feel like treating?
Um, Low key, it does. It kind of really does because I know with men, I know like men who watch porn that have the sense to watch it, like they're not really tripping off it. But at the same time, like if most men who watch porn was watching it at a really young age, I'm pretty sure. So I like it does have an effect because like once you start talking to a woman or like if you starting to really catch attention from women, sometimes your mind be in the gutter. There's that line, the blood from your brain and your feet go to your dick, so you can't think and you can't run at the same time. And I think that's the perfect example of like men who came up watching porn and like that's how, because a lot of them that's how they view women. Like in general, a lot of them they really see women as like sexual objects, sexual objectification, but it's not entirely their fault because that's how porn is kind of like advertised as. You know what I'm saying? They get girls with huge tits, or there's just something about them. They get the women that objectify the Western beauty standard. to the extreme level, and then that's how they market them as. That's why a lot of those women porn stars from back in the day are fucked up. A lot of them are fucked up because they're in an industry that doesn't value them, and they just supposed to take dick for a paycheck. A lot of them get underpaid or undercut even more if you black or you Hispanic, and then you know what I'm saying. That's why, like I said, a lot of them end up fucked up. And then in turn, a lot of the dudes who grew up with that and internalized that shit because that was probably the only form of self love that they pretty much had when they watching the porn and they getting it on by themselves. You know what I'm saying? That could probably host a whole number of psychological shit that's going on with certain dudes and shit like that. So yeah, I kind of agree with that actually.
See, I don't know if I agree or disagree because now I know my experience is different from other ways. Because I remember when I used to watch porn, I just wanted to know what I what I was doing before I jump in. That's the reason why I started watching porn. Now I kept watching porn because I started liking it and all the other stuff. I was trying to really discover like what I like and my turn ons and all the other stuff. That's I felt like, but I was using. I know there's a lot of people like me that uses it as a tool. Like if you do have intercourse with a girl, where do you like stick it in and all that other stuff and all that stuff. So I know I use it as a learning experience. But but what you said is really on the spot because I know there's some dudes be like the girl, like I understand this, like girls like this sweet as ever. They don't have a hoe bone or they never done anything that would consider them a hoe, and niggas would just call them a hoe just because they don't give them a time of day. Or there are dudes that are feel entitled to like women just because they're men and all that other stuff, and they feel like just because they're dressed this way that they should be giving out top like that. I understand, like I know there are men like that, and to me, it's part of it is porn, but I've also said part of it is like where did they learn it from? Because I feel like if you learned it from home, then something's wrong with your father. But I know a lot of fathers, especially ones with daughters. Like my father was teaching me how to treat women. Like, and if it wasn't him teaching me how to treat women, my grandmother was teaching me how to treat women. Like my father was usually teach me what to and what to not say about women. But even then, me watching porn when I was younger, I understood that this shit is a fantasy. I think if people understand that it's a fantasy, because let's be real, like especially the ones with the storylines, it's really stupid.
Yeah.
Like you could, like some like the whole nigga lamp thing, or like the whole like step brothers sisters. To me, that's always been like really weird. I always thought that was white people shit. The stepsons
Yeah.
and the step brothers
That,
sisters. Um, and like the other stuff, like you could tell, like sometimes I've always said porn is funny because it gets really ridiculous, but at the same time, they do shit that if you do that shit in real life, you can go to jail for. So like all of a sudden the girl is like you seen it where all of a sudden the girl is naked and then like dude just walk up in them, and this is usually the white porns too. So I've always seen this. It's like the white porns, like the girl's naked, she's doing something, the dude just walks up and just puts his penis in her for no reason and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, even though it's wrong, she like brings them in the room and they start having sex. Like I understand, like I know that in real life, if you do that, you're going to jail. That's not. But and I don't know. I've never heard a story with someone really doing that. I'm pretty sure it happened. I've never heard no stories of doing that. And me myself. So we yeah, I do feel like it does desensitize, but I don't know. But at the same time, I just like it's obvious to me. Like looking at porn, it's obvious that some shit just you wouldn't do in real life. I don't know. How you feel, Tony? Tony, you there?
he probably stepped out.
I see his mic moving. I see the speaker going, but I don't know. I can't hear him for some reason. Um, okay. Well, Tony fixed that. We got anything? Any last words on this before we move on to our next topic?
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Yeah. I think the moral of the story is, first of all, Boozy don't speak for everybody in the black community because there's a couple niggas that seen Boozy know that that nigga ain't right in the fucking head. We all know, like I could understand that's a street nigga. When it comes to street nigga shit, I would probably listen to Boozy, but when it comes to like life taking shit, I wouldn't listen to him. Tony, you back? Can you hear us?
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. I was thought I was talking. I thought y'all could hear me, but oh well.
I couldn't hear you, but what was you gonna say?
I was saying that a lot of the things that goes on with porn, like you said, is a fantasy. A lot of females think they gotta live to that fantasy to get a guy. So they be a little they self, where they feel like, you know what, I gotta keep a man. He want a threesome because that's his fantasy, but I don't want to do it, or I gotta do this a certain way. And I think it messes up the value of a female. Also, it messes the value of a man because the value of a man, you thinking like, yo, I gotta have a big ass dick, you know what I'm saying, to get girls, or girls like long dicks or something like that, or stuff like that. And like you said, it's a fantasy, but people want to make that fantasy so true so much they think they need to have that in their life to do stuff like big titties, big ass, long dicks, and all that. And it messes with your whole image of the value of yourself. That knowing that, yo, if you believe in the value of yourself, for male and female, I mean, yeah, believe in the value of yourself, then you'll think better about yourself rather than feeling like that you gotta be like the fantasy to get that girl or that boy.
Amen.
I agree wholeheartedly. Um, Before we get on to I meant to talk about this during the Jill Scott and the whole thing. From there was another thing I was seeing on Twitter, and for some reason it was, and I try not to bring her up a lot because sometimes it's just stupid. But I thought this was interesting. It was like there was a someone was basically saying, how come Jill Scott get all this praise and all that stuff, but y'all be dragging Lizzo and all the other stuff. So I was hoping Xavier be on here because he had a lot to say. He wanted to say something, but I don't know. Father, how did you feel about the whole thing? They was trying to compare Lizzo to Jill Scott for some reason.
Bruh, I'm tired of people bringing up the fucking double standards with Lizzo. They've said it at almost every single time they could. They did it with when P Diddy and her, and with when she was twerking and P Diddy said, "Oh, they wanted to keep it family friendly," and then it was someone else that was twerking and they was fine with it. I think what was it? Was it who was it? Who's the other girl? If you remember?
Drea.
Yeah, Drea. So there was that, and then there was the whole thing where she was shaking her ass at the basketball game, and then niggas pointing out, well, if there was Beyonce or somewhere or Nicki Minaj, you wouldn't you have that same energy. Bro, there's so many instances where they bring up Lizzo just to compare her to these other situations and point out the double standard. And I always notice it's the same motherfuckers. It's that shea butter black feminist pronoun crowd. Them motherfuckers. Like, it's to the point where I'm just like, at this point, I'm so tired of hearing her name. I'm so tired of people fucking just, ugh. If you know, and I ain't even really got anything against Lizzo, but the only thing I'm gonna say is niggas is gonna get memed on no matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. Niggas will meme on anybody. Nobody is safe on these social media streets. And it just so happens that unfortunately Lizzo is a bigger target, both figuratively and literally, because of the way she acts and because of the attention that she brings on herself. I can't control what people say about her, and neither can you. So these people pointing it out, it's not gonna do anything. You're not gonna fix shit. Niggas is just gonna meme you along with Lizzo because unfortunately that's the flavor of the times. The Lizzo is the person that people just want to meme on, and shit. That's just what it is. Is it wrong? Yes. But all of y'all have done plenty shit, that was wrong when it came to other people. When XXX Tentacion died, y'all a lot of them was making fun of his death, and yeah, that wasn't right, and that wasn't right. Even if the dude was a piece of shit when he was still alive, but it still wasn't right to make ill of the dead. I would never really stoop that low, no matter who it is, because if someone dies and I don't like the person, that's it. He's dead. Ain't nothing more to say. Ain't nothing more to If you're gonna remember him, remember him. You know what I'm saying? But if he dead, then he dead. Ain't really nothing much more to say about that. He ain't living no more. So he can't really be affected by your words or nothing like that. So they just need to spend their energy on something else, because bringing up Lizzo continuously and continuously ain't solving shit. It's just one of those people that just want to find something to be mad about all the damn time.
Tony.
Yeah, I don't got nothing to say. With that subject.
Okay. All right, then I'm gonna try to keep it short because I've always said this: when you do good, you get celebrated. When you do bad, you get dragged. We just seen that with Boozy. All right, he said some bad shit. When he beat cancer, people was like, "Yeah, Boozy, I'm glad you beat cancer and all the other stuff." When he said this shit about his son getting topped off, Boozy, what the fuck, you wilding and all that other stuff. When you do good, you get dragged. I mean, when you do good, you get praised. When you do bad, you get dragged. Lizzo, as far as I'm concerned, like I'm not gonna lie, like I'm pretty sure her music is good. I've never really been trying to listen to her music. I don't know. I feel like her music is not for me, not for me. But Jill Scott, I fucks with her music, but at the same time, like the most you could bring up with Jill Scott is probably the shit she did at her concerts around adults. The whole little fellatio thing with the mic is like, but people like that. And also, it's just like to me, I've said this. I feel like Jill Scott has a better vibe. Like, don't get me wrong, Lizzo looked like a sweetheart, but Jill Scott has a better vibe and all that other stuff. And yeah, big one. And I'm gonna tell you this: I know one girl said big girls are like she's. Someone said she was shaped different. People don't drag Jill Scott because she's shaped different from Lizzo. Like they're both big girls, but they're shaped different. I was like, it doesn't fucking matter. I was like, when you see Jill Scott, is like, and you. The first thing when I think of with Jill Scott, I think of her music,
Yeah.
all of her music, her catalog. Excuse me. When I think of Lizzo, I'm thinking like her at the Staples game, her in like scandalous clothing, twerking and all that other shit, like showing that big girls can be sexy too. Now, I've said this before. Is like if I know you, if you're more known for outside of your music than you do for your music, to me, you're not as good as an artist as you think you is. Even though she's won 3 Grammys, like I said, I'm pretty sure his music good, but she has not really done nothing to make me go listen to her music. So
But the thing about it, would your idea be different if you was a Lizzo fan? Because it's Lizzo fans that listen to her music hard, like every song, everything she was in, just in the music. Would you be different? Would you think different if you was a Lizzo fan compared to a Jill Scott fan?
no, because I'm a Kanye fan, and I don't agree with everything Kanye say.
Yeah,
I'm a bit, like I said, I'm a big Kanye. Like, don't get me wrong. I was like, I look forward to his rants, but half the time I'm like, Kanye, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, some of his shit is just really. I've said this as a diehard Kanye fan. Nah, I'm not feeling that. That's real stupid and all that other stuff. There's been times when I said I need to stop defending this nigga Kanye because he just like.
mm.
But even if I was a Lizzo fan, like I probably and like I said, she probably does have great music. She just, but to me, it's like the first thing I think of is her at the Lakers game with the ass out. And I understand like other celebrities had fucking antics too, like Prince and Michael Jackson.
Erica
But you at least
Badu.
Erica Badu and all that other shit. But at least with them, you think of their music first before you think of the antics. Like I
No,
think of
I,
the
I think I think that's an opinion because you gotta look on how the artist is. Like, you know, a lot of people that don't listen to Erykah Badu and all they know was when she was walking around the streets naked. They probably just remember that.
But that was also in the music video. So before, if they had to see that video walking naked, they had to listen to the song Window Seat. I get what you're saying, but at least when she did that in a music video, and there was a message about it.
Yeah,
So
but she also got fined a lot of times for doing that shit too.
she did.
So
She
a lot of
did.
people, you got to think of from an outsider person. You have to almost like if Erica Badu is a country person and she did that, you will only know her because of that because you don't listen to her music. 'Cause that's the only thing that comes to your head that's real big. You get what I'm saying though, right?
Yeah,
I get what you're saying, but I'm thinking about okay, Carrie Underwood. The first thing I think of Carrie Underwood is, I think that's her name. That
yeah,
song Before He Cheats, and the only reason I know that because every black woman that never listened to country listened to that. So if I was like, oh, you the girl that sing Before He Cheats, if I ever see Carrie Underwood, I feel like if
Yeah.
I see like is that the chick that had her ass out with the at the Laker game? You're not wrong, but I don't know. This is probably his opinion though. But you're not wrong because I don't think you're wrong about that. But I'm just saying when I first think of Lizzo, I think of her big ass twerking or her at the Laker game and shit. Okay. Any last words before we move on to our next topic?
Nope.
keep your pants on, Lizzo.
Okay. On this platform, we always talk about tangibles and all that other stuff, what we want from Joe Biden and all that. Now, it's one thing we talk about tangibles, and which is really good. But I always like, what tangibles do you think we should be giving to Joe Biden? It's one thing that he has his own stuff for Black people, but I feel like we should be also giving him our demands as well. Is just because, like we would like to see shit done in the community to help the Black community, especially since we done it basically gave that man life in his whole presidential run. So, Father, I ask you this: like we always talk about tangibles. What type of tangibles would like to see Joe Biden deliver on?
So I just want to preface this by saying that I am not an American descendant or slaves or a foundational Black American. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed. I am, of Ghanaian heritage. So me personally, I wouldn't be really benefiting from it, even though I low key would because I'm a black man in America. So if it does help Black Americans specifically out, I'm still benefiting because that's the people who I'm mostly associated with. Now, with that being said, I think the three things that Black America needs from like any candidate or like anyone who's serious about getting the Black vote is number one, uh, Black Americans need more access to wealth. They need a way to get money that white people are entitled to getting, that white people have gotten since the GI Bill was selectively inclusive to them and not Black people of that time when it was introduced. And I feel like a lot of that could be tied into reparations, which I believe that would really help Black people out, in this time especially. So a more easy accessible way to access uh, to wealth in terms of the Black community as a whole. It would open up more businesses, which would be, and small businesses are of course the lifeblood of the Black community. It would incentivize more people who go to college, or it can also incentivize people to invest in Black businesses so the money stays within our community so we can really build our institutions and shit like that. So that's number one. Number two, we need an entire overhaul of the police system and the justice system and all that, because the way it is designed, it is a literal execution chamber for Black people. It is no different than the gas chambers that was used in the Holocaust for Jewish people. So what really needs to happen is they need to reform the way police conduct their business in these neighborhoods, and they also need to really look at the bias and just how many people, and especially how many white supremacists have infiltrated law enforcement and the whole justice system in general. They need to look at all of that. They need to conduct a super, super, super what's it called? It needs to be a very, very deep investigation on the criminal justice system and how many Black men have been locked up for the same crimes as white men, and it's been more severe. They need to look at all of that. They need to stop over policing our children in schools because, as you all know, when you went to school, the kids who was mostly getting in trouble for very little was black kids. You know what I'm saying? So it just needs a total overhaul, and I believe that that's one of the main things that really needs to be done in America. So innocent black people that don't really do nothing don't get shot and killed just because they just so happen to be black, or they don't fit the description, and all these little vague ass terms that they be using to justify killing us. And number three, and you know, I originally didn't think this was that big of a deal until recently. And I think number three is we also need a guaranteed effort on the government's part to make sure that black people can arm themselves and defend themselves without any bullshit happening to them. Because for far too long, black people have been locked up or have been killed for exercising their right to defend themselves. I know a lot of them white folks love to talk about that Second Amendment whenever people want to talk about taking away their guns. But when it comes to black people, they hella quiet. Philando Castile was a gun owner that had a gun that had a gun, near him when he was killed, but he wasn't allowed to defend himself because he was a black man. The just recently the sister that died, I think her name was Breonna Taylor, her boyfriend, her boyfriend is getting locked up, or is being charged with attempted murder, I believe, because uh he was trying to defend his woman as a black man should, and I really applaud that brother for trying to defend his woman, and they ended up killing her anyway. So not only does he have to live with the fact that his girlfriend has died because of police that got the fucking address wrong for the suspect that they was looking for, but now he's getting charged for a crime when all he wanted to do was protect himself and his girlfriend. So it's a really, really, really huge case of injustice, and black people should not be getting punished for exercising their right to protect themselves. So I think that's another thing that should really be a tangible effort on the government's part, or whoever's part, to ensure that black people don't get locked up or don't get penalized for exercising their rights, the rights that they fought for and the rights that they died for. Because people always seem to forget that this country is a country that's bathed in blood. Both slavery and genocide of black people is one of the founding fathers of this country. It's not no Mount Rushmore, it's not no Declaration of Independence, and it's not no Bill of Rights. It's first and foremost the blood and the sacrifice of black and indigenous peoples in America who did nothing wrong but were slaughtered because of this ambition by the colonialists and the pilgrims that wanted to conquer this land that was already inhabited by the natural people in the first place.
Tony?
I would put on top of what you said. Everything you said was just good ideas. I would just add the overhaul in the education system. As far as school budgeting and school curriculums that need to be learned, I will be adding that on there. I feel that a lot of us as a black community need to learn stuff that we need to know at a younger age, or even in high school, just in school and period, just stuff we need to know that'll help us prepare for after we graduate. Like I told Jameson, like, I mean, I graduated from Anacostia, but when I joined the Navy, I didn't know what APR meant. I didn't know what it means. So, I kind of got like dicked on my car loan and wound up paying 22% interest rate.
Damn,
Cooking, because I didn't know nothing
Jesus
about it.
Christ.
Because a lot of people in my hood or my area, they didn't buy cars. They bought stuff from, like, they bought old cars from auctions and stuff, or them old beat up little dealerships. You get cars for like $3,000. I didn't know nothing about that. I think you should know about APR. I think you need to know about interest rate. I think you need to know about uh, car loans, interest loans, bank loans, money management skill where you can save money. At a young age, females cooking, basic mechanics. You know, as far as changing the tire, changing the oil, all the things that a lot of big companies make money off of us knowing that we don't know, and they'll guarantee get the money from us about that we don't know it at all. It starts in the school system, you know what I'm saying, in the neighborhood, like you saying, far as the police too. Also, um, we need to get somewhere where we have people that was born in the city be police officers. I know a lot of DC. When DC was hiring at first, they had a tattoo regulation where you couldn't have certain tattoos so they wouldn't hire you, or you smoke weed, knowing you from DC. So it prohibits people from DC trying to be a cop. All the stuff that's going on. I think them two, as far as our community and schooling and education, better schools, it will be the things that will help.
Uh, damn. Like, but I think both of y'all said like some of the things that I really wanted to be done, especially the reparation thing, because I feel like right now I feel like we need to focus on like what can we pass down to our future generations and what can they hold down. So reparations will be a great thing. We get our money, we get the businesses, we can pass down businesses and wealth down to our youth, and also with the education, that's another thing. And I'll always, but to add on that, I would like to see trades on there. Like when I was in the Navy, I didn't know. Well, before the Navy, I didn't know a thing about pipe fitting and welding and all that other stuff. So not until I got into the Navy where I learned that. And then talking to some of the white counterparts, a lot of them that was HTs and all that, they was welding or like had machines like that in like high school and all that other stuff. So this, and then I realizing like when Tony was talking, did my school ever had a career day? I don't remember my school having a career day. Like,
Yeah, that's I never thought about that either.
like you see these in these white shows. Like, there's the things that in high school I expected from because I got it from white shows. I was hoping they doing in black shows like how to dissect the frog. Even though I didn't like science, I wanted to dissect the frog. There was none of that. They had drive. Some of the schools had driver's ed. We had none of that. And I understand we ride the metro, but I felt like hell, like a driver's education class in high school. We should really have one of those. I don't remember them having that. Like I said, have no career day. Hell, I don't even remember them saying like bring your parents to work days, and they talk about their career and all that other stuff. Now there was I don't know about you, Father, but the only thing closest to that was like AI coming to our school talking about their school and all that other stuff. But other than that, I don't remember a lot of stuff like bringing to the schools. Like they purposely don't put that in the schools no more. Because if trust me when I said this, like as like when I was in the Navy, I enjoyed welding. Like I now I know what type of wrench is which, what type of socket is what, and all that other stuff, and engineering shit. Or like you said, how to fix a car, how to change a tire, and all that other stuff. The cooking, home economics class. I just realized they took all that stuff out of school, and it's just like these are things that I feel like modern day things you really need to learn, and we don't. We
Also, I think another good idea is knowing your rights when you get pulled over by the police. Is one of the is a lot of the things should be known in school. I think a lot of the stuff in a lot of the subjects and stuff, rather than learning about stuff that really ain't gonna happen, I think that the whole curriculum to be changed out as far as knowing the stuff you need to know that will really really help you. Knowing your rights, knowing your laws, knowing what you or what you do. Long if you have gun rights or, like I said, get put by police, all these rules that affect you by day, what you could say in court. I mean, like you saying, like you see in these white schools, they be having mock trials as a lawyer, and they'll have people. They give you a case, and people play a lawyer, and so on. We don't do stuff like that.
Yeah, you're right. Cause yeah, shit. I've been kind of thinking like, what did I learn in high school other than the the most I think I've ever learned in high school was like the age of consent, and that's when they was trying to teach law, but they really skimmed through on that. And the only thing I ever learned out of high school was the age of consent in Maryland, which is 16. And I don't really think I learned history and all that other stuff, but like even then they really like barely teach you about history or at least the same thing. So yeah, they could have switched up stuff and like for real, you could like they don't really for math being important, they don't really teach you like financial advice and all that other stuff. So and these are things that I feel like before you leave high school you should really know. Like how to budget your account or like when you open an account, where to open it. Do you want to open it at a credit union or do you want to open it at a bank? Because I remember my first job and I had a class where all I had to do was get a job and I passed, which I did, but the lady never taught me about opening banks. Like I used to get my check and I had to cash my check at a check cashing place right next to my job and all that other stuff. I really didn't understand that, nor did really understanding budgeting. So it's just like I feel like high school really just walked us through, and I've always had a problem with that because it's like I shouldn't come out of high school not knowing what the fuck I want to do. And I feel like a lot of kids like they come out of high school they don't know what the fuck to do, so they feel like college is the next step. But some people are just not for school and all that stuff, and you can see that when they drop out. And like at least when you learn a trade, you can at least jump in the trade and all that other stuff like they used to do, and they don't even do that no more. So, I think those are all good tangible ideas that I feel like we that should be worked on. Anybody got any last word before we move on to our last topic?
Yeah, I mean, I had like home economics and shit like that, and wood shop and shit. But
At
the
least you
way,
had woodshop.
yeah. So when I had it, and wood shop was fun. I actually enjoyed that class, and I didn't think it was going to be all that interesting. But like once I finished the program, it was actually a lot of fun. And I had home economics because I went to school in Prince William, so I had like those type of topics. I had a cooking class, and that's how I actually got introduced to AI because there was a dude that was doing a demonstration on the culinary shit. But then he said that they had other programs like video games and shit like that. So that's how I got recruited. So even though I had it, and I also had a class on like financial literacy and stuff, but even though I had it, the high school made it. They did it in a way that wasn't very like interesting, or it wasn't, or they didn't do it in a way that would like help you remember it. They'll just say, this is that, this is this. Okay, you're done. Go home. And that's how it kind of like happened. Because I remember when I had my financial literacy class, like yeah, they were teaching us, but it wasn't like how to balance no checkbook or nothing like that. It was more like it was literal definitions of a textbook, and then we write the definitions down, and then we took a test on it, and then that was it. So the way they taught it to us, it didn't really like hit me. I still didn't know what an APR was. I didn't know how to buy a house. I didn't know how to do any of that shit. Like even taxes to this day is like I always wonder why taxes are so fucking complicated when people, regular people, regular working people got to pay that shit. But taxes are just like some of the most complex shit that you could ever learn. And, there's different tax brackets, there's stuff you could write off on your taxes and shit like that. And none of this shit is being taught. So people just going along with the okey doke. People just getting these fucking minimum wage ass jobs, and then when tax return season come, all they know is that they getting the check, not realizing that they only really getting the check is because their funds is being reimbursed by the government, and because they're taking taxes off of their paycheck while they're still paying taxes on other goods and services as well. So a lot of people actually don't understand like just how convoluted the economy, the economic shit is, and it's a lot. Like when you once you wrap your head around it, and especially when you find out where money really comes from and what money really is in America as a capitalist society, in which we're really not even really a full capitalist society. We have some elements of socialism and shit like that, but yeah, it's rough, especially if you black, because once you find out what really happens, then you find out how they sabotaged us on purpose throughout history when it came to when it came to things like our 40 acres and a mule and civil rights. We really took a L on those because people wanted to latch on to our struggle and eat off the table that was built by us. And whenever we try to build our own tables, they got knocked down. So
Well thought out. Anybody else got any last words before we move on to our next topic?
nah.
All right. Hey, let's get those tangibles out. All right, last one we're gonna leave on a light note. Father, we was having a conversation in the chat, or in a Discord that we were in, and I did want to bring this to the podcast. And it was basically the Mount Rushmores of gaming, and basically everybody was giving their opinion like what was the Mount Rushmore of gaming, and I wanted to start with you, Father. What is since it's been like days ago, what would you say is the Mount Rushmore of gaming?
Okay. So I would say Mario, of course, because Mario is like the main person that kind of brought gaming back. Because there was that crash of like in the '80s, and then when Super Mario came out, it basically revived the entire gaming industry. So Mario will always be credited as the savior of gaming. So he definitely, gets a spot in the Mount Rushmore of gaming. Um, let's see. I would also put Street Fighter in there because it was the one game that really revolutionized the fighting game genre into what it is today. And without Street Fighter, you wouldn't have a Mortal Kombat, you wouldn't have a Tekken, you wouldn't have a Virtual Fighter, you wouldn't have a lot of modern fighting games that are out today. All owe their success to Street Fighter because they were the first to ever really do it the correct way. So, because of that impact alone and how much money it brought to arcades in general and the arcade scene, and that's still bringing money to this day on Asian markets, Street Fighter definitely earns a spot in Mount Rushmore. I'm still trying to think because there's a lot of honestly, there's a lot of games that kind of do deserve to be in the Mount Rushmore. And I know I definitely said a few that's not coming to me right now for some reason. Um, I would say that the next game is Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto definitely should be in the Mount Rushmore of gaming because it is one of the series that people like can just remember off the top of their head, whether it be GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas. If you say one of those three names, somebody who has played video games before would definitely tell you the first time they've ever played GTA. Especially when we was growing up, like when GTA Vice City came out, because GTA Vice City was the first one I ever played, and I was just blown away by like, bro, you can drive cars and you can shoot people. It really did feel like you could do whatever the fuck you wanted. Even though when you play that game now, you find out how dated it is. But like GTA was really the game that really said you could do whatever the fuck you want. And it really opened that door for other open world games to really expand on their shit. So GTA will always have a spot on that iconic level of video games. And the fourth one, I kind of don't have one right now. I'm still trying to think of it because again, there's a lot of games that are deserving, and I think that'll be a very very I mean, Mount Rushmore in itself will be a very heavily debated topic because there's a lot of game series that definitely innovated a lot of shit. So, um, I guess for right now, those three are in my Mount Rushmore guaranteed, and the fourth one I think is still debatable.
Tony, what about you? Uh, Tony, you there? I don't know if you can hear me or not. Okay, let me go. Shoot, I
Hello.
know. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say Pac-Man. I would say the Mario's. I say Pac-Man because that's one of the first good colorful games that came out. That was on Atari. That was real, real big and still big to this day. I would say the Mario games. I would say Zelda. I think Zelda was one of the open world games where you could probably just go anywhere and just venture out. As far as one of the first games, I would say Street Fighter. Um, Street Fighter, or maybe Golden Eye. Golden Eye was one of the first games you could play multiple player going against that, or even Doom. I think Doom will probably be one and two, but the Golden Eye or Doom will probably be the top games that kind of started the multiple thing like Halo and all the little military things. You just taking guns, you just shooting at each other. Those minds right there.
Dang, both of y'all got like good ones. I think all unanimously like Mario should be up there, and I said Street Fighter. So those are my two off the break. Um, Shoot, I thought about GoldenEye because like you said, the multiplayer aspect and the first person shooting, but I know Doom is also a great one, and you also got your Call of Duties and your Halos, and I don't know. We had that talk, so it's like if it wasn't for GoldenEye, we probably wouldn't be a Halo because, but Halo, is one of those worldwide games, and it really, it really put Xbox on the map. So I know, like, for that reason alone, it could be up there if you put Halo up there. But I've also said GoldenEye would probably be Mike Shooter. I always thinking like because the whole time we was bringing in, no one brought up a racing game. And I was like, does any racing game really?
Oh,
Does any racing game bring up? And the one I was thinking of is Gran Turismo because I think a lot of people have hold Gran Turismo in their hearts, but I'd be biased and also say Mario Kart because people love Mario Kart. But
oh yeah. I would say probably Ridge Racer.
I
Does
was just
anybody
about to
remember
say
that?
the same shit.
Ridge Racer was like the first game that actually came out on PlayStation. That was like, like the was the shit. Actually, it was one of the first free games that you got with the PlayStation when it came out. Everybody played it, even though it was the free game.
Also,
right,
shout out to
go
Daytona
ahead.
USA.
Daytona USA is real good. I was thinking, it was like, oh man, because I was thinking F-Zero, but
Yeah, that game died, bruh.
yeah, that game died. That's why I was like, all right, I can't. And plus, I don't want to be solely on Nintendo because I know even though Nintendo is basically like saved the gaming industry by itself. But I was like, damn, I don't want to just stick on Nintendo. I was thinking Final Fantasy VII. Like, I understand there was other RPGs before that, but I feel like the popularity of Final Fantasy, just like GTA, the popularity of that is what. And then like, it's one of those things where I consider it like Dragon Ball Z. Yes, there are other animes you could like better and all that stuff. There are probably other animes and RPGs that's probably it. But a lot of people got their start from Final Fantasy VII. At least the people around my age. I
Yeah,
know, like 10 years later, I would say 10, Final Fantasy 10, because Those are like the two Final Fantasy games I know everybody talk about, 7 and 10.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I would just put the whole series in there in general, rather than
Well,
like.
Final Fantasy in general, yeah. But the reason why I specifically say 7 because I feel like once people play 7 and then I feel like that branched out into other RPGs. Like you could put Final Fantasy in there as a whole. I wouldn't mind that. But if me specifically, I would probably say 7. GTA works too, but even though I'm not a big fan of GTA, but I do like to get like I've always been a fan of Driver, but Driver is good, but it's not GTA. I'm admitting that as a Driver fan. So it's one of those things where okay, if I had to just right now, like for right now, I would say Mario, Street Fighter, Final Fantasy series, and shit.
I would not put Driver in there because that's a series that died as well. It did have its
Yeah,
hit
that's
back in the PS1, but they tried to bring it back and it was not good.
yeah. So that's why I was like GTA. That's why I said even as a Driver fan, GTA would just
Yeah.
demolish that. But I fucking love Driver. Driver's is like,
I don't know. I didn't. I drove in the truck the whole time.
huh?
Oh, never mind.
Oh, I
Yo,
was thinking Resident Evil.
Resident
Because
Evil?
Resident Evil started a whole, just because it started a horror series. I think I don't know. It's just I was
Um, Damn, that's a good one too.
see what I'm saying. And you said it. There's a lot of good ones which you put up there.
Yo,
Like you said, Ridge Racer. You said Ridge Racer. I said Gran Turismo. I'm like, God damn. And
damn.
is like I said, it's a good one. So right now, I would say Street Fighter, Mario, Final Fantasy, and GTA. That's gonna be mine. So
Yeah, I'm still picking between Doom and Final Fantasy. I also want to put in because there's Half Life and then there's Unreal Tournament, and both those games are iconic because they are the most modded games in history. Like those games really started mods and like what you could do to really push the games more.
would you put that over Team Fortress 2?
Yes, because Team Fortress 2 is a mod of Half Life first.
Ah, okay.
So, yo, damn, yeah, I don't know. And then you said Resident Evil, and I'm like, God damn.
Yeah, you get what I'm feeling at. And even like, okay, I understand. Like, I feel like Sonic should be up there, but I understand why you don't put Sonic up there because when he turned into 3D, that's where like a lot of people say he fell off at. But as far as a console seller, Sonic and like him doing the console wars, I felt like Sonic should be up there. But I'm not going to argue you if you don't think Sonic should be up there either.
Yeah, because like Sonic would be totally up there if 2006 never happened. Like, bruh, because I know there was a lot of people that didn't really like Sonic Adventure, but you cannot deny both of those games was revolutionary for their time. So it's like Sonic, Sonic was you're almost there, but you didn't get it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Any last words before we get into our final thoughts?
Nope.
Well, bring back the golden age of gaming. I'm tired of these motherfuckers.
Duck Hunt. I mean, those are the games that was one of the first shooting jumps with an actual gun. Um, Other than that, yeah, that's it.
Uh, all right. With that, we're gonna get into our final thoughts, and I'm gonna go ahead and start with Tony. You got any final thoughts?
Oops.
Hey, let me go. Let me go second.
Okay. Father, you got any final thoughts?
Um, do I have any final? Uh, so Damn, I'm really trying to think of my final thought. All right, no, I got it. So I'm starting to, work out again, and I did leg day on Monday, and I'm still fucking hurting. That's how hard I went. So for those, who've been slacking on their workouts, just just take it easy and then just make it harder from there. Because I damn near killed myself. I always do this to myself. I'll like fall off of working out, and then the next workout I do is fucking intense for no reason, and then I'm like a week in recovery because I went too damn hard. So my legs is super, super, super tender right now. Them bitches is hurting, but hey, I'm getting back into it.
I need to get into it myself. My procrastination skills is just top rank right now. I really should be getting back into. Tony, you go ahead.
Man, I'm still working. Still seeing a lot of people without wearing their masks or um even or they don't even believe that the coronavirus is real. Um, Protect yourself, even when people don't want to protect themselves. Um, it is real, people. It is real. Um, we had two soldiers uh, that got confirmed with coronavirus, and they was working with us at the sites, and they had to be quarantined for 2 weeks. So I mean, it's real, man. So um, take care of yourself and your family, so so the stuff won't spread too. That's it.
Okay, and on that, shout out to I think it's the Eisenhower that's out to sea right now. Like that was the one I believe that was the ship where the captain was trying to warn people about coronavirus and all that other stuff, and he got let go because I know that ship has been going through hell because a lot of them has been getting coronavirus on that damn ship. So my thoughts are out to them, and I hope all y'all get through it very flawlessly. Also, like Evo, I seen Evo done switched up their dates and all that other stuff, and switched up their games to more games that has great net code, except for Street Fighter Five, and because that net code is trash. But I see that Killer Instinct has made it back, and Skullgirls, two of the games that I play frequently, and made it back. So I'm glad to see that. I see, and I also see that Smash Ultimate was taken off. So that one has also kind of surprised me and all that stuff. So it shows you that like I think a lot of them been talking about this a long time. Netcode is really important, especially on here in America. We're not as close as people around here like Japan and all that stuff. Like y'all really, really need to do something about your netcode to make it run better so you can make Evo because Smash Ultimate was one of the biggest games that was in Evo, and to take it out, I know um you might lose a lot of viewers, but it shows you that you really need to fix your netcode because you don't know when it's the next time we was going to be local again like this, where people don't have to wear masks and don't have to worry about coronavirus. So that's all I have to say about that. Everybody stay safe. I like to thank the panel for getting on the show. I like to thank for y'all listening to hear us talk our shit again. Until then, this is you know what. Let me just say podcast, and I'm signing out. Peace.